Homeowners, this one is not for you. I apologize. Once a month I put out content for real estate agents because I do believe that we all can help each other, and I do believe that we all can learn from each other. I have been in real estate for 18 years, and all of a sudden I have been receiving an influx of people finding me on YouTube who are thinking about getting a real estate license, and I charge $250 for that call because I can't make that decision for you. So I'm just gonna put the video out there answering some of the common questions that I get. So number one, commercial real estate or residential real estate? Commercial real estate is bigger paychecks, but fewer and further between, and it's much more cutthroat. There are no emotions, it is strictly numbers. Residential real estate is all emotions, and numbers kind of go out the window when you're dealing with somebody who just has to have this house. I mean, you're working nights and weekends, you are flying home from vacation to be there for your clients. Commercial doesn't have that stuff because it's truly a business. It's 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and that's the end of it. And so you have to really be willing to commit to failure, commit to giving up your nights and weekends, giving up your social life, learning how to say no to yourself and to people and to all of the distractions that are going to take you away from building your business. You have to be disciplined enough to wake up early, to have a schedule. You have to be a self-starter. You are your business. If you are thinking about real estate as a second career, because you've been in sales, for example, for 20 years in a different industry, my guess is you probably had a company. Maybe you had a base commission. You're taking a huge haircut when you get into real estate. You're not going to be able to keep doing your nails and your eyelashes and your hair and have the nice car and go to all the dinners and vacation. You're taking a cut. You don't know when your paycheck is gonna be rolling in next. You have to be so smart with your money when you get into real estate, because living within your means that you are living within your smallest and worst months and years. You're not living at the height. Now, if you can figure out how to constantly make X amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and you can make a bulletproof business, which also is going to take years to do, then go for it. And I want you to do that, because as soon as you get comfortable is when you're gonna drop the ball. Oh, I don't need to make that phone call. Oh, I don't need to write those thank you cards. That's not what you're supposed to do, because the second you put one under contract, you think, oh, I have 30 days, I have one closing, I'm gonna go shopping, I'm gonna do this. Oh no, you need to buckle down and act as if that is about to fall out of contract and freak out because you don't have anything coming in. And I think that's what people misunderstand about real estate, is that no matter where you are in your career, you always need to continue lead generating. So how do you lead generate? I started in the very beginning of my career. I started with taking any and all rental leads, whether it was a rental listing or an actual renter. This is the best way to learn about contracts, how to communicate, who you are as a business person, deadlines, financial pieces. Like, there's so much that goes into this that is completely free. Now, the caveat, at least in residential real estate in Scottsdale, those paychecks are typically $200. Once you get to like even $5,000, they can still be $200. But when you have a renter who's like a luxury renter, $10,000 a month or more, we'll say, then it is typically 3%. In Miami, it's a half a month. So no matter what it is that I do in Miami, even if the person's, $2,000, at least I know I'm getting $1,000, so it makes it a little bit more worth it. And as you grow into your career, you're going to eventually be the person that gives out those rental leads because you don't need or want them anymore because you have bigger fish to fry. But in the beginning, when you have no business, you have no money coming in, you don't have any leads, you don't even know how to show a house, you don't know how to write a lease agreement, the list goes on and on. The answer is yes, I am taking that lead, because that's how you're going to learn. Experience is experience. You cannot trade money for experience. It doesn't work like that. So I highly suggest in your office, any single person I don't care how far you have to drive, take the rental lead, because that person turns into a deal in a year. That person refers you business over the course of your next year. You absolutely need to make sure that you have a follow-up system in place, and this is where you're going to build your habits. Number 2, open houses. Open houses is a very warm way to meet people. You have the public, who you don't know, coming to you, and you are sitting on a jackpot. So you want to make sure that it's easy signs, ideally that the house is vacant. If the house is vacant, you need to ask if there's furniture. If there's no furniture, you better go to Walmart and buy yourself a table and chairs. You want to make sure that your open house is presentable. You want to make sure that you're there as many days of a week as you can. I mean, I was there Wednesday to Sunday for 2 years straight. I took off Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day. I was there on Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. I did not care. And the days you show up at open houses on the days that no one else wants to work are the days that you receive all the traffic. And I have closed deals from working those holidays. Don't care. I don't care. There's nothing more important to me than my business. And you have to decide who you are as a business person. Because every single time you go on vacation, you're gonna be coming home. Every time that you wanna go have a date night, you're gonna have to answer your call. You're gonna be traveling with your computer everywhere you go. Once you get a business and you're living in the world that you wished for when you were new, it doesn't stop and it keeps rolling in. And it's a huge blessing because you worked so hard to get there. But the question is, what are you doing to get to the 5 year from now self? What are you doing to have that successful business in 8 years, in 10 years, in 15 years? You want to make this business that is just a cash cow, right? Because you're only as good as your last deal. You have to learn to live within your means, as I already said. It's so important to figure out what your lead generation is. This is gonna take me to social media. I guess we'll call this number 3, social media. That is a very passive way. Yes, you are getting your business out there and you are getting people who know you to understand and connect the dots that you are now in real estate. The caveat here is that you're waiting for people to come to you and it's a very, very cold lead. That makes it hard. At least the rentals who are given to you by people in your office, at least those people are warm and they're ready to go. They're kind of already pre-qualified. Open houses, those are people who probably want to do something in the next 3 to 12 months. Also warm. Social media, while everyone thinks it's so great and they get distracted by it, and I'm going to try very hard not to go on a long tangent about this, is not the first form of lead generation. It is your business card. It is building a database of your inventory, demonstrating your knowledge and highlighting that you're in real estate. I'm sure there are people who are able to generate off of social media immediately. I would say that that is the exception to the rule. If you are looking to actually start a real estate business, you need to do real estate things. So that's door knocking, cold calling, introducing yourself, the agents in your feeder cities, calling the real estate agents in California, calling real estate agents in Seattle, in Portland, in the Midwest, letting them know who you are and asking if they want to be referral buddies. That is a great way. Again, it's passive, but it's just one more avenue where you could possibly be receiving income. It is not easy to start a real estate business. It is very stressful, especially because you don't have any money coming in. You don't have that commission base that you're used to. And if you decide to get comfortable, you're taking an even bigger pay cut. Like, you always have to have a little edge. You always have to be ready for more, and you need to develop the habits, which are very basic habits, to creating a day that makes sense, learning how to move the needle, learning how to communicate. The thing is, when you're new, everybody knows you're new because you don't have the experience. You're so busy trying to get business that you don't think about all the other things that you need to be doing. So when you're at an open house, it's a double whammy. Read a contract, figure out how to fill it out, fill one out, send it to your broker. Hey, is this correct? Can you just look it over? It's fake. I just need somebody to review it with me. If you have a mentor or you decide to join a team, they probably are not going to be very good teachers. Straight up, I try very hard to show up as the person that I wish I had, because I never joined a team and I never had a mentor. And I just wanted to figure it all out by myself because people project. So I like to think I'm the biggest go-getter on the planet. I know there's people much more ambitious than I am, but most people who I speak with, they're projecting onto me their small views that just don't work for me. So why would I take advice from you if I don't really respect the decisions that you've made or where you're at in your life? It doesn't work for me. So I decided to go my own route, and now I want to be that person for someone else. And when you start out as an assistant, so if you're in Scottsdale or you're in Miami and you have a real estate license and you want to be an assistant in order to learn, I'm happy to talk to you for sure. When you start out as an assistant, you kind of just want to follow your little boss around and you think you're gonna learn. Again, as much fun as that is not the life. Life is lonely, it is isolating, it's shallow, it's stressful. You're going to be making cold calls for me. You're going to be doing my Instagram for me. You're going to be checking on houses, all my listings, running the water, flushing the toilets, checking the mail. Are the light bulbs burned out? You're going to be turning on lights before listings. Like, those are the things that you're going to be doing, because that's the job. That's the job. Once you have the business, once you've gone from lead generating to actually having business, that's what you have to do. You have to service your clients. You're not looking at pretty houses all day. I can promise you, you are not looking at pretty houses all day. And if you're young, you probably don't even have the database. Be in touch with people who are multi-millionaires who have the pretty houses, and they're not going to trust you because you're going to sound like an amateur on the phone. Like, you have to really hone all your skills, from communication to systems to contract writing to negotiating. If you want to just eliminate social media altogether, I actually don't think it's a bad idea. Because working an open house, making your cold calls, sending out thank you cards, that is what's going to make you memorable. Those are going to be the best ways to put yourself in touch with people. Dancing on TikTok ain't doing shit. Sorry, but it's not. And we all look at somebody who's already got a big name, like Ryan Serhant or the Altman brothers or the Hormozis in the business world. And it's like, oh, I can do that. And it's like, really? You can just go get 1.5 million subscribers? I don't think so. It took them a long time to get there. And what you don't see as the new agent is how much time, effort, money, tears, blood, sweat I have put into my business. All you see is that I go to an event here in Scottsdale and I come back with a lead. And that's all you see. But you don't realize that I grew up here. I went to college here. I called people for years, once a month, to stay in touch with them. I preserve all of my relationships. That's what you're not seeing, because you don't know that those are the habits that created today's business. So when you come in and you're all envious as a new agent of somebody who's been doing this for 10, 15, 30 years, it's because you didn't see them struggle the way that you're struggling. And quite frankly, I think a lot of those real estate agents who you look up to, I think they forget those early days because it's been so long since they've struggled. So it's not until they have kind of a bad year that it makes them realize, like, oh shit, I gotta get back to the basics and do all of those things that I hated in the beginning of my career because I got comfortable. It's an interesting business, and every time that you think that you need to bring someone in to help, they're actually going to hurt you further. I can't tell you how many times I went on listing appointments, and it was solely because I was scared. And in truth, I didn't actually prepare properly because I didn't really know what to do to prepare. I'd never seen a listing appointment before. I didn't have anything. So I would bring other people in, top dogs, from my office. And I would follow up with the seller, and they'd always say, you know, Lauren, I would totally work from you, but I don't like him. I don't like her, so I'm not gonna work with you guys. What do I say now? I introduced this person as my business partner. Oh, okay, well, I just brought them in because I wasn't confident enough to list your house, so we can get rid of them, it's no problem. I can't say that, I can't go back on my word. That's crazy. So you need to trust yourself, and you need to prepare, and you need to do all the hard work. It's not glamorous and it's not fun, but you gotta do it. And it's practice. You have to practice whether you're filming yourself, whether you are practicing to your pets, or you're practicing to your significant other. You need to practice your listing appointment. You need to practice your buyer's appointment. You need to figure out, what are my systems? I can't stress this enough. What are my systems? What's my follow-up? How am I going to get this business off the ground? The more people you talk to, the more chance you have of getting a good business going. And it's the daily, consistent habits that you're going to hate, despise, and loathe. You're gonna get frustrated that you've called 700 people today on cold calls and you've talked to one. It's not fun, but I have business from it. I've had paychecks from it, so I keep going. Because for me, posting on Instagram, posting on YouTube, doing what I want to do has not yet seen a paycheck. Facebook has brought me business because I know those people, because they are people from 20 years ago, from college, from kindergarten, who reach out. They know me, they trust me, they know my personality, they know I have positive morals and ethics, and they're willing to work with me because they already know me in real life. I'm talking about cold ass leads from social media. I have yet to receive one. And that's the truth, which you wouldn't guess after looking at my Instagram page, but that is the truth. So you gotta stay off the camera. You have to go do the dirty work. You have to be willing to give up everything to get your business off the ground.